Nice. All right. Hey, everyone. I'm David Room, and this is my wife, Katie Room, also known as Red Hedge Dragon on Twitter and operator of the Periapsis Press YouTube channel and site. And we've got something different today for those of you who might have tuned in before to my programming, live streams, and sci-fi multimedia project work. We're doing something else here, which is looking at some toy collection stuff. So Star Wars is always a big influence on my projects, and I always have had a fondness for Star Wars, like the design of Star Wars and ship design, and enjoyed Star Wars toys and models as a kid. And recently I've gotten into collecting some of the ships for the Power of the Force 2 line from the 1990s. And I have a decent sized collection of the action figures, but I wasn't sure about collecting the ships just because they are quite large, some of them, and take up a lot of space. But I decided to make the plunge, and I found a really good deal on a bunch of ships, but they're a little dirty. So I thought we would clean them up on the live stream, kind of just use it as an excuse to hang out, have a chill stream, maybe talk with some friends if anybody wants to stop by, and kind of look at these too and see, are they actually good toys? They're kind of classic, maybe not as classic as the original Star Wars toy line from the late 70s and 80s, but they actually share a lot in common molds and stuff. So we'll take a look at that. Anything you want to add?
No.
I think you're kind of along for the ride.
Yep.
But I've got a couple of different cleaning cloths so we can both look at stuff. So looks like William Jeffrey Rankin is here.
Yep.
Hey, how's it going? I'm curious. I know. I think William Jeffrey Rankin is a bit older than us, and I know he has some favorite Star Wars ships from when he was a kid. So I'm curious to know if he had any of the original toy line. So the neat thing about these is that a lot of them use the same molds, but they're a little bit updated with new stickers and like a little bit of paint detail, which I kind of like. And one funny thing that will probably he says, "How dare you?" One thing that we'll see is that one shortcoming of these, I think, is that the Power of the Force 2 figures, while they do fit in them, maybe don't fit the best because they have kind of this splay-legged stance, whereas the original figures kind of stood more straight. So we're gonna see how that goes as far as, do they function as toys, which is a good question, you know. But yeah, let's get into it. So I've got the X-Wing here first. Okay, so he said, so William Jeffrey Rankin says, I had a few figures, but my best friend had all the figures, a TIE fighter and an X-Wing. So I've got a TIE fighter and an X-Wing, which I think are the same molds as the original line with just some extra details.
Cool.
So this X-Wing, the stickers are not in the best shape, but I actually have the sticker sheet for this with the remaining stickers that aren't on here, and they're also not in terrible shape. And I'm not a huge fan of stickers on stuff, so I don't mind not all the stickers being on. Mainly what I wanted to do with this one is there's just some dirty spots on it that I want to clean up, and I want to clean them carefully without removing the paint, because it kind of has some kind of sprayed on marks, and I feel like if you're too aggressive with it, might take this paint off. So I want to be careful. And it does have electronic sound effects, but they don't work on this one. And I talked to the owner of the toy shop that I got this from a little bit, and he said he tried to clean it and get it working, but it just didn't work. It's not a huge deal for me because electronic sounds and stuff aren't the biggest deal to me, and I'm mainly just going to put these on display. But the action feature works, which is you can push R2's head and the wings pop open a little bit. So that's kind of fun. Oh, nice. William Jeffrey Rankin says another of his friends had the Death Star play set.
Wow.
So that Death Star play set is it the? I think it's the Darth Vader Star Destroyer playset that is kind of the maligned one because it doesn't really look like anything.
Oh.
I'm not super familiar with the Death Star, but did you want to look at a different ship yourself and try to clean it,
or I'm fine with whatever.
Just hang out.
Put me to work.
Okay. Maybe I'll give you the Landspeeder.
Okay.
So I thought I would grab this. He had a whole bunch of ships that were in nice shape that weren't in the box. So this is the Landspeeder, and it has a neat feature where it has this little stick, and when you let the stick up, there's these springy wheels, so it kind of has a hovering effect. It's hard to see in that view, but so
it looks quite nice.
Yeah, it's a really neat effect. And this one, again, it has a lot of paint, but there's just some marks and a little bit of grime on it. So,
crud.
Yeah, I'm gonna get after this X-Wing here, and I've just got some filtered water. Oh, nice. Yeah, this is another one that kind of looks like it might. People don't talk about this one as much, but I feel like this might be another one that was based on the original mold. These all have updated sort of copyrights on them. And an interesting thing is these are mostly the first wave of vehicles, and they actually say distributed by Tonka Corporation. So these original vehicles were Tonka, while the rest of the Power of the Force 2 line was Kenner, but it was really Hasbro just using the Kenner name.
Okay.
So,
do you want me to try and get this?
I wouldn't go too hard on the windshield because I don't want to scratch it, but you could wipe it. Yeah, all these dirty spots are just coming right off. I don't want to be too aggressive with it.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm going to do with this X-Wing is these the laser cannons seem like kind of a potential fragile spot. They're a little bit bent already, and I might preemptively try to 3D print replacements. They pop on and off real nice. So before I let my kids play too much with these, I might do that. The thing I really like about the Power of the Force 2 line is that none of the stuff is very expensive. Even stuff that's new in the box is not prohibitively expensive. So it's not stuff that you have to, lock up in a glass case. You can let your kids enjoy it and swoosh it around and whatnot. I'm just gonna.
William Jeffrey Rankin says the commercial for the Landspeeder is on YouTube.
Oh, nice. I was watching a couple of commercials for for the Power of the Force 2 stuff the other day.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I really remember the commercials from when I was a kid because we didn't watch a lot of, like Saturday morning cartoons and stuff like that played commercials for toys.
Yeah.
I more remember just seeing the stuff in the store. And I remember also one time, I don't know if you remember this, but the public library in Eau Claire, they used to have a case in the kids section where different local kids would display their collections.
Yeah.
And once it was some kid's Star Wars toy collection.
Oh, wow.
And it was all of these figures and ships and stuff. I very clearly remember, or at least I think I remember, seeing a bunch of the Shadows of the Empire stuff and the Slave One and some different different ships. And I think that was actually the first time I'd seen a lot of that stuff in person, because in the store it's just in the box. It's in an opaque box. You can't actually see it. And me and my friends mostly had Lego. That was kind of our main toy that everybody had and collected when I was a kid. So we weren't like playing with Star Wars ships and action figures all the time.
Willie Jeffrey Rankin says that he sent in a number of breakfast cereal box tops and got a Boba Fett figure.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
Both lines had mail-away figures. I remember mail-away, it's either Luke or Han in Stormtrooper disguise on a Fruit Loops box.
Oh, wow.
And there was a mail-away Obi-Wan's Force Ghost.
Oh.
That I have, actually. The mail-away figures just come in these little nondescript boxes. Any luck?
I think so.
Your side? Is it looking a little
better?
I don't want to go too hard and get rid of the spray painting, but there's definitely some grime. I feel like probably rubbing alcohol would take the paint off, but we might be pretty safe with water.
There's a little bit of a mark here that won't come on.
Yeah,
but
that's okay.
In here it's kind of melted a bit.
Yeah, I was looking at that. It seems like it maybe got scraped or something.
Yeah.
This I'm gonna grab the little sheet where I had the prices that I paid for these. These were all priced really well. We actually went to this store and we were on vacation, so I didn't really want to buy too much. So I looked at all this stuff, and then when we got to our hotel, I spent some time looking on eBay, and I'm like, oh my gosh, these are really good prices. So the Landspeeder was $14, which I think in the box it's usually at least $20 or $25. And all of these had the stickers were not completely horsed up on them, so they were kind of worth it.
Matt is in the chat and says looking good.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Now, Matt, I know we've talked a lot about 90s Star Wars stuff. Did you have any of these toys or action figures as a kid? Or were you a little bit past that, or kind of focused more on books? Or I'm curious. I always like to hear about people's memories of stuff.
Not sure I have much more to do here, babe.
Okay.
You're welcome to
You want to look at another one?
make an inspection here.
Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, that looks great. Looks really good. Did you go over this a little bit?
I just ran the
Yeah.
cloth over it.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it looks really good. Nice. Good job. Do you want to take a look at the TIE Fighter? This one I don't think is too dirty,
Sure.
but it's more noticeable on the wings. And I think we can actually pop the wings off too. So this is the TIE Fighter. It's kind of fun because it's sort of stubby, and it's something that I've seen pictures of this before, and it looks kind of dumb in pictures, but in person, it looks really pleasant, and it's really nice to hold too. So this shop, he had everything in cases, but the cases were open, and they had signs on them that said, "Go ahead and open the cases." I was like, "That's awesome!" So I got to look at these and handle them a little bit. Almost certainly helped sell them for me. But the wings pop off of the TIE Fighter. It's the action feature.
So you can shoot it up.
Yeah, so the X-Wing can shoot it. And then so just make sure to be careful with these tabs here. But I think the wings have a really nice texture to them, which is an improvement over the original, because I think the original just had stickers. And it looks really good, but it's, I think, probably kind of a
dirt trap.
Skunk's Workshop is here.
Oh, nice.
Says, I had the slave one for the longest time, had no idea what collecting was at the time.
Well, you're in luck because everybody tried to collect this stuff, so it's abundant now and not very expensive.
Matt says he got into Micro Machine figures and Action Fleet ships.
Yes.
The whole complete runs of those.
Wow.
And some of those beefy Kenner figures. Never had the 80s stuff, but they look neat.
Yeah. Yeah, the
Can I have the bottle?
Yeah, the I had some of the Micro Machine stuff too. Actually, I had more of that as a kid than the action figure stuff. I had some of a couple of the play sets, and then I had the Action Fleet Snowspeeder with the prototype Snowspeeder, and that was one of my favorite things. And I'd like to get into getting some of the Action Fleet stuff too. That actually seems to be run a little bit more expensive, honestly, than the Power of the Force 2 stuff. There's a lot of little crevices in this X-Wing. Yeah, Matt, the neat thing about this stuff is that it's a lot of the same molds as the 80s stuff. So it kind of has that vintage look, but it's a little bit more updated with the painting. Well, the prototype Snowspeeder, Matt, it wasn't just a variant. It was actually like a little mini one. They had this line, and maybe we're just talking past each other, but they had this line where there was the normal Action Fleet ship and then a smaller prototype version. And that was the Snowspeeder that I had and still have, actually.
Yeah, it's on your nightstand, right?
It was on my nightstand. I put it on my shelf down here because I was trying to clean stuff up.
Very observant.
Yeah. So there's actually a new line of ships that's kind of like the Action Fleet called Micro Galaxy Squadron. And I grabbed a few of those ostensibly for research, because one of my goals is to make Action Fleet style toy ships of my own ships, which I've been streaming the development of on this channel. So yeah, it's kind of if I remember right, Matt, it's kind of like a silver. It's kind of a silver color. There's a stubborn little mark in there, but I think that just might have to stay. Oh, nice. You do have your lights on back there.
I did turn them on, yeah. Not that anybody can see them very much.
Could actually use a little bit more light here, honestly.
Sure. I can try and turn these up.
Yeah. this one maybe.
I have no idea which is which. Oh, come on. Go away. Is that better?
Yeah. If it's not washing us out, I think. Yeah. Oh, that's a lot better.
Matt says that would be the dream, printing your own action fleet.
Yep. And that is the dream that I'm going after. And like everything else, it's way harder than it seemed. It's like, oh yeah, I could just 3D print the stuff I make, but there's a lot of challenges. One interesting challenge is scale. So the thing about the action fleet is that they scaled things differently to sort of make each ship the same size. And I'd rather not do that. But there's kind of a limit to the ranges of sizes that you can make things. So there's probably some compromises to be made. My goal is to kind of have a 3D printing workflow where for each ship I can kind of apply some general rules to prepare it for 3D printing, and then maybe some custom tweaks per ship to handle specific cases for that ship. And that would include, custom rescaling or modifying certain parts so that they print correctly or aren't too fragile or whatever. A general thing that I need to figure out is how to print parts that can be separate but then connect together. And I'm hoping I can actually do that in the next couple weeks. And then I can start focusing on figuring out exactly how to print stuff with the right level of detail and print quality for what I'm trying to do. Yeah. So that's right, Matt. These ships are are for research into how to make toys have practical proportions. That's something that I think is fun about toys is, I think a good toy isn't just, being more accurate isn't necessarily the end all in a toy. Because if that's what you want, you should just buy movie props or models or whatever. Toys are interesting because they kind of have to compromise in interesting ways. Lego especially does this in a really interesting way. So it's neat when you're looking at toys to see the trade-offs that they made between accuracy and looking cool and being not fragile. Those are all different trade-offs.
Matt says, to be honest, it's probably more cool to not print your exact model from the game, but to print the practical toy edition of it. That's a neat challenge.
Yep. And I might do both, right? I might have like little tiny hyper accurate models at a small scale where I could run the full scale, and then I might have like a toy version. Like I'm picturing sort of an action fleet version that has little cockpits that can open and you could put figures in. And looking at these makes me want to try to make something that's kind of, scaled for this size action figure, even if it's not actually in scale.
Can always do both, Matt says.
Yep. And that's kind of the philosophy of my project is, being able to, being able to, if I make a design, being able to use it for the game and a piece of more like photorealistic digital art, or a cool wireframe image or animation, or a toy, or a printable model, right? That kind of multi-purpose thing is the goal. Just am cleaning this cockpit up just a touch. I don't want to scratch it. That was one reason that I wanted to grab this X-Wing too, is because the cockpit was in nice shape. R2's got a couple of scratches on him, but
Where are R2?
It's just battle damage, I guess. Some of this might be grime, but I don't want to attack it too much harder. So I think I'm pretty close to done. Oh, I know what I was going to do. There's a couple of grimy bits on this laser cannon. They pop right off. It's easy to clean.
Oh, nice.
Let's try spraying some water right on here. How's that coming there, babe?
Great. It's definitely getting stuff off.
Mm-hmm.
You don't see it until it's on your cloth, but
Mm-hmm. Well, these ships are about 30 years old at this point, so even if they haven't been played with that long, they've had a lot of time to collect dust.
mm-hmm.
So William Jeffrey Rankin says that if he remembers correctly, you could put an actual R2 figure in the original X-Wing toy. That sounds right to me. Did the original one have the, like, if you press R2, it expands the wings? Because it might have had it could have had a different mechanism. I know this one has like a electronic type sound effects, whereas the original one I think had a motor that made the stuff. So Matt C asked if the plastic is degrading at all, and if anything is getting sticky. And no, it's not. There's on some of the action figures that have more rubbery or certain kinds of paint on them. I've seen them be a little bit sticky, but it's not like a large scale problem yet with these.
Yeah.
And sometimes you see them where they're a little bit yellowed, or certain parts will be yellowed, but on the whole, that doesn't seem to be a problem with these yet. It could just be that a lot of them were more boxed up and out of the light and not played with as much as the older ones, or it could just be another 10 years coming. But
Mm-hmm.
it seems like in general, the way they were formulated, yellowing isn't like a widespread problem across the whole line. I think it seems like 30 years would give it enough time to do it, because I have some stuff, other things that are sort of from the same era that are yellowing pretty badly, like my Super Nintendo. Parts of it are yellowing. Okay. Yeah. So William Jeffrey Rankin says, I recall the TIE fighter making sounds, and the X-Wing had a red light on the very front that you could fire. Yeah, so the TIE fighter does not have any electronics in it. They took that out of this version. So I think this little part on the back that sticks out, unlike the real TIE fighter from the movie, I believe that might have held batteries in the original version.
Sure.
But it doesn't have anything in it.
Just kind of there to hold.
Yeah. It's not the most realistic, but they did actually fix up the Darth Vader's TIE Fighter. The original Darth Vader's TIE Fighter didn't have the... It basically had a body shape that looked exactly like the normal TIE Fighter. The Power of the Force 2 Darth Vader's TIE Fighter, they fixed that.
How does this open? I don't want to think on it.
It just...
Oh, it
it's
does.
like
Okay.
yeah. Okay, well, I think we're going to call this X-Wing good for now. I don't want to take any paint off the wings, even if it's just little splashes of it. So
Yeah.
So we're going to leave it.
Whoa.
Now you've done it.
I didn't do it.
Cool. So yeah, I think the X-Wing is done. Has a little foldable landing gear too. It's fun.
It's cool.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the stickers on this. I think if you put the stickers on the sides here, it would cover up a lot of this detail. I like the spray paint parts though. I think that looks really nice. Gives it a lot of character.
Mm. I feel like the middle of this is not too dirty,
Yeah.
but like there are a couple small marks
Mm-hmm.
that just aren't coming off nicely.
Yeah.
I don't want to scrub at them.
Yeah. That's fine. This one didn't seem too dirty to me either. Would you say it's done?
I think so.
Cool. It has these little balls to keep the cockpit shut.
Yeah.
So like it opens up, but then when you close it, it doesn't, like it won't fall open when you turn it upside down.
Yeah, it was sturdy enough that I was afraid to yank on it.
Mhm. And these springs actually make the wings kind of not just fall off, but sort of fly off if you activate it correctly.
Cool.
It does make it sag a little bit when it stands, so it would be nice to 3D print some kind of stand that this could set on. Not too much in the cockpit, although it does have a couple stickers. And your sister and her husband were over on Sunday, and I was showing him this stuff, and I tried to put the TIE fighter pilot in it, but you kind of have to cram him in with his legs. He definitely fits, but all right. Should we grab a couple more?
Yeah.
So here's the ATST, and then one of us can work on this, and then I'm gonna get those Shadows of the Empire ships and see if they need any cleaning. They seem pretty clean, but so the neat thing about this model is that it has two modes, so it can stand like this, and it is a little bit. You can't really see it on camera. So it's pretty. It's not the most tall standing, but it stands. But then you can flip the switch over to walk, and when it's in walk mode, it doesn't really stand. But you can push this button on the back, and it actually walks. So again, I believe this was the same design as the original, and it's just a kind of updated version of it with a little bit more paint detail and some spray painting and stuff on it.
Very cool.
And the paint is a little bit marked up on this, but all the pieces are there. The sticker is coming off a little bit. And then the top the top opens up, the hatch opens up, as well as the top. So you can have somebody, and there's some nice stickers on the inside. You can have somebody, you can easily get a figure in there, but you can also have a figure like Chewie, coming out of the hatch at the top. It has nice big feet, so it can stand pretty sturdily. Doesn't seem like it's gonna sag or anything. And then I was just gonna grab, so I don't think I've shown these on stream here, but I got a couple weeks ago, I got this Slave One and Outrider from Shadows of the Empire. And these are pretty clean, but just as long as we have everything out, I thought I would look them over and see if there's anything that I wanted to clean up a little bit.
Cool.
And then we'll finish with looking at the A-Wing, which I got new in the box.
Cool. Do you want me to work on this?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think?
This seems like it's a little more.
Would you rather me look at that one and you could kind of look over these?
Nope, I don't know your standards
Okay.
for those, so.
One of the reasons that I got these Shadows of the Empire ships is they also, whoever had them did a nice job of putting on the stickers. Didn't horse them up. So.
You guys can't really see what I'm doing anymore, but you'll have to trust that I'm doing the work. Oh, it's creaky.
Wonder if it'd be some kind of inert lubricant, that wouldn't degrade the plastic, but would kind of get rid of some of those creaks. Would work. The Outrider is a new mold, right? Because it's a new ship, so it has kind of a different look in how the panel lines are done from these older ships.
Oops, sorry.
It has more recessed panel lines, whereas the other ships have panel lines that are raised. They both look good, but I kind of prefer the look of the Outrider. It looks a little bit more 90s, but also just feels a little bit more sturdy.
William Jeffrey Rankin said that's a very cool one. I'm not sure which one he was talking about.
I'm assuming the ATST.
Okay. I'm a little bit behind, guys. I'm sorry. On the plus side, the marks on this one are coming off much nicer.
Mm-hmm. That's good.
Yeah. He says, yeah, the ATSD.
Mm-hmm. The Outrider looks very different from the actual Outrider, but it is a very, well, maybe sturdy isn't the right word because it's got this weird mechanism, but it feels very solid, and the landing gear are really sturdy. The guns feel really sturdy. They kind of hold position really nice. and it's got a fair amount of paint on it. Like this gray part here is painted. Something that I'm thinking about for my own toys is if I can kind of print different parts in different colors. So I'm planning on doing FDM, not resin, because I mean I have an FDM printer, and also resin isn't really a good material for toys. But I could print different parts in different colors, and kind of, if I can figure out a good method for connecting them together, then I can get colors in detail that way without having to do stickers. I don't really like stickers. But some of this just light spray painting, you know, you could do with airbrush or something. And another thing that you could do, these don't really do it too much, but you could do a wash of a color. A lot of the Micro Galaxy Squadron ships have a wash on them, and it looks really good. And it would be very simple to do, I think. Okay, this was really not dirty at all. How's it coming?
Oh, this one's a very satisfying one because all of the marks come off with a little gentle prodding. So some of the other ones, the marks did not.
I think this slave one has to be my favorite of all of these ships. And this is another one that is done with the original mold, but it is just painted really nice. It has nice stickers. It just looks cool. I mean, it looks just about the most like the real slave one you're gonna get, I think, in a toy. And it doesn't seem too out of scale, you know. It's like close enough to being in scale that it's believable. If you want it, you can take that off.
I'll make sure that I can. Ooh. It's so creaky.
Yeah, I really kind of want to look into how it could be lubricated. Yeah, this is a little bit dirty. I'm gonna take off the canopy too and wipe that gently while I'm at it.
William Jeffrey Rankin says Slave 1 was something of a departure in terms of design.
Yep. Yeah, I think it's a really cool design. It kind of looks like a helicopter until it you know, pivots. Yeah. And the toy has a lever that you can use to pivot the cockpit part up or down.
It's interesting. So a couple of stickers on this side, and then one here but missing here.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa, whoa.
I think all of these ships were probably from the same person's collection that they traded in, excluding the Shadows of the Empire ones. Most of them had the stickers applied pretty well, and some of them had some of the stickers applied, but the sticker sheet. He had the Millennium Falcon there too, but that one did actually have some of the bigger stickers horsed up a bit. So I decided not to buy that one. Plus, that one is probably
huge.
It's probably the trickiest to display out of all of them. So I wasn't too sure about that. The kids would love that, though, I think.
Yeah.
My daughter really likes playing with my Lego Millennium Falcon.
She's pretty excited about that dark Millennium Falcon.
Yeah. Lego came out with a dark Millennium Falcon that's all black and has a bunch of silly characters in it, and I'm pretty excited about it too. I'm gonna have to get it at some point.
Look at it. Just come right out.
Actually, you know what? She's old enough now that we could build that together.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man, she would love that. All right. I think I've done.
That might have to be like a Christmas break thing or a special time sometime after the new baby comes or something.
Yeah. Oh, what's that?
The detail on the back of this Slade one is just great too. It looks really cool.
Okay.
You finished?
I think so. I think so.
I'm just gonna wipe this canopy down and then we'll look at the A-wing.
Sounds good. Looks great. I'm just gonna pat myself on the back.
He's got big feet.
Yeah.
It's
Wait. I saw a spot.
kind of cute. But yeah, it does look pretty good. This doesn't, just using the water and the microfiber doesn't seem to take the paint off.
Nope. Seems all right.
Doesn't really seem to scratch parts either, so
No.
I think it's a good technique. You can get a lot of things cleaned just with water, something I've learned.
Yeah. Okay, that seems like it's a scratch. So I'm not gonna mess with that anymore.
These gun parts, something else that I'd like to potentially 3D print a replacement for. They're a little bent.
Yeah, you can see how bent they are. This one's gonna shoot up and this one's gonna shoot down. Every time I see a spot, it just comes right off. That's really nice. Very satisfying.
There's some light scratches in this, but it's not really anything that you can see unless you hold it up to a light. And most of these that you see, like 90% of them that you see on eBay that aren't in the box are just really in rough shape, missing a lot of pieces. It would actually be kind of fun to start buying a whole bunch of them and just, you know, keep like combining together extra pieces and see what you can come up with. But it's always, a lot of times it's the same pieces missing from all of them, you know, so that would be hard to do.
Unless you could 3D print them.
Yeah.
Like the replacement parts. Obviously telling people that you've done that before you sold them. But
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think this needs too much more cleaning. This is in really good shape already. What do you think? Do you see any standout stuff on this one? You seem to be having a good eye. Good eye for stuff.
Looks great.
So.
Some of these it's hard to tell if it's
Yeah.
a marker or like just
That actually did come. Oh, look at that.
there might be some on this side too. Just, like right here.
Oh yeah. I think the one part of this model that doesn't look so great is the those parts where the little wings connect.
Oh,
But that could be what the actual sleigh one looks like. It just kind of stands out as not having enough detail. All right, well, I think that's looking pretty good.
yeah. Very nice.
I think this one is my favorite. It's it's a really nice one. Okay, so let's this next one is actually new in the box, so it's not going to be cleaning up, but assembly. And I think we're kind of focusing on ships. We've been going for a while, so I'm going to save the speeder bike for another time.
Okay.
But this was another thing that I grabbed. Was the speeder bike. He had an open one, but I didn't have the figures that go on the speeder bike, so I grabbed the in the box one. There's a lot of actually there's a lot of stickers on this, so that's a little bit of a project to put together. Has a neat play feature where it flies apart. Luke ejects to safety. I don't know if that really looks like he's ejecting to safety. It looks like he's going to land on his head. So we'll see. Okay, so this is, if I hadn't gotten to this shop and found all of those used ones, this is probably the first ship that I would have gone out and bought from eBay, because I've watched some reviews and I think that this ship is really nice. Plus it has an exclusive figure with it, and most of these ships didn't come with figures at all. So this is the A-Wing. I'm kind of partial to the A-Wing. And the neat thing about this one is that it is almost in scale with the figure as is. So like we were talking about how to, the problem of balancing scale with it being a good toy. And the A-Wing is not as extreme if you have to at all. I know there's like a variety of maybe how they're depicted on screen in terms of what size they are and everything, but this is certainly close enough.
William Jeffrey Rankin asks, when was the A-Wing introduced?
I believe it was Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
I
that's
don't
what
think.
he guessed.
I don't think. Yeah. Because in A New Hope, you have basically just TIE fighters, Darth Vader's TIE fighter, X-Wings, and Y-Wings. Empire Strikes Back, you have the Snow Speeders, you have the Nebulon B frigate, you have, I think you have do you have the Super Star Destroyer in Empire Strikes Back? I'm not sure. You have the TIE bombers. And then in Return of the Jedi, you have the B-Wings, the A-Wings, and the TIE Interceptors are introduced. So minty fresh in here.
Minty fresh.
Well, let's see here. When is the copyright on this? Yeah, 1997. So this isn't quite 30 years old, but 27. What are some things that this is older than? It's older than your little sisters.
Mm-hmm.
It's older than
my first car.
Yeah. Ooh, I like this.
It looks really cool.
Yeah, this is great. I love when you get something out of the box and it's cooler than you expected it was going to be. And I'm probably not going to put the stickers on right now because I find putting stickers on nerve-wracking. But it's mainly just the control panel stickers, and there's 2 little stickers that go on the front. So I honestly don't know if I'll even put those on. I might just save them. Okay. Matt, yeah, I was going to mention this is what Matt has been waiting for. So we'll actually get that action figure out first. I like how he's strapped in there.
He's
He's just like, ah. Now, the thing here too is they made this figure. So this was 1997. So they made it. By the time they got around to making this, that they weren't quite so. The figures weren't quite so buff and splay legged. So I expect that he's going to fit maybe more nicely in the cockpit than some of the other figures would in there. So he's just got the bendable legs, arms, neck, and waist. But he's got a lot of nice paint detail. Boots, little chest plate, helmet. Yeah, and this A-Wing, yeah, this really can't be too far out of scale. It's big.
They have a very pleasing shape.
Mm-hmm. I wasn't sure if this was actually going to be wrapped in plastic inside the box or not.
William Jeffrey Rankin says, "Free at last."
Yeah. Well, especially if you can't see it inside the box, it's like I wouldn't keep it. Keep it inside the box. That's a little. Oh, I see. Oh, that's cool. So there's a little lever here that raises the windshield. It doesn't set the best.
Yeah.
That might just need to be tweaked a little bit. I can just find, yeah, there it goes. That's better. And yeah, so there's 2 little stickers that go here. And then there's stickers that go basically on the side panels of the cockpit. But overall, there's a lot of paint detail on this. My understanding is that this mold was made and it was released as a toy that went with the Droids show.
Oh.
So it is a reuse of an older mold, but it's not as old as some of the other ones. And then the original one had electronics, so there's like a battery compartment, but this one doesn't doesn't have the electronics, but the battery compartment is still there. And there's just nothing inside of it. But check this out. So there's this little lever here that is supposed to push forward and pull down on the lever. It's supposed to push forward, push in and back, and pull down. It's supposed to raise and lower all of the landing gear at the same time. I don't want to break it.
What does that mean, pull down? Probably you're just going to have to push it real hard
Yeah.
for that first couple times.
Well, I don't want to force it. Don't want to break it. That's really great though. It really looks nice. Has those same kind of raised panel lines, and then the action feature is that you can pull the laser cannons out and then they rotate up and down. Push it back in. Looks like Matt has a question about the Bandai kits. Yeah, he says, what do you think of the Bandai kit? Snap together most film accurate stuff we can get. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any personal experience with them, but if they're anything like Gundam models, I'm assuming that they're really, really great.
Can I look up the mechanism? I think you have to push it.
It says push forward and pull down to lower.
Pull down.
I'm wondering if it isn't just push forward and it'll kind of pop down.
Yeah. Boy.
If we manually pull the landing gear down. Yeah, there we go. So that freed it. Now let's see here. Man, that's tough. That really does not work well. Yeah, you can kind of see the mechanism working. It's probably just that it's been locked in there for 30 years. But it doesn't seem to hurt anything to open it manually. It's all pretty sturdy and really nice detail on the landing gear. Oh, that's great.
It sits really nice.
Yeah, and that cockpit doesn't want to set closed nice, but I think that's just, again, probably just from sitting in the package.
Matt says, I put together a Bandai A-Wing a couple years ago.
Was it the little tiny one, or was it a bigger one? Oh.
Ran lights into the dashboard and the engines.
Oh, wow.
Twice the headache, but the kit is worth it.
This landing gear is a little bit splayed in. I wonder if that's why it's not.
Why it's having trouble.
Yeah. That's kind of a bummer. Hopefully I didn't break it. I don't think I did.
Matt says he did the bigger one,
Okay.
the A-Wing kits.
I know they made some little tiny models. I always looked at those at Hobby Lobby, the little tiny ones. And I was always tempted to buy them, but at that point I kind of had come to the, I don't know, resignation, I guess, that if I bought them, they probably would just sit in the box. Okay, so overall, this is a great model. I think there's some goofiness with the landing gear
Yeah.
and the windshield for sure. So that's gonna definitely be something that I mess with a little bit. It could be that just setting, you know, it's already almost setting flat, so it could be just setting out of the box. Will help it. And not too many stickers to apply either, but I'm gonna have to take my time with those. Let's try putting the pilot in, and then we'll be done here. Yeah, you can see he where's, yeah, so like, well, I guess he doesn't. They might have engineered this one a little bit too to sit nice in a cockpit, but some of the other ones don't. Oh yeah, he fits great in there. Nope. Gonna have to do some research on that landing gear mechanism because something is goofy about that. Yeah. Yeah, this is a great one. Really nice looking detail all around. All right, well, thanks for coming and hanging out with us, everyone. I'm going to probably be back doing some more programming live streams either later this week or next week. Got some good yard work to work on with the last of the good weather, so I'm going to be focusing on that. But thanks for hanging out, and probably we'll do some more toy collection updates sometime in the future. I've been enjoying this, and it's kind of fun to ding around with it together. So have a good evening.